As free agency enters the home stretch, we finally have enough deals here to talk about kind of what's happened, especially some of the worst deals that we've seen. Now, bear in mind, there's going to be some numbers that look crazy as the balloon caps, but there are some that are undoubtedly worse than others. So we'll start by talking about Tim Hardaway Jr. Got a crazy offer sheet from the New York Knicks, $71 million, which really is just $1 million less than what Joakim Noah got. Wasn't matched, unsurprisingly, and just is crazy money. This Tim Hardaway thing, I think the money he got for the talent he provides, especially considering New York just had him on their roster a couple years ago, is pretty outrageous.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you mentioned the Joakim Noah contract, and between the two of them, they have arguably some of the worst contracts on the books. And for a New York Knicks team that, for fans, it seemed like they were kind of relieved that Phil Jackson was kind of, stepping away, and then they see this deal come through. So it's just a bunch of questionable moves for this New York Knicks team.
So who else you got?
Cristiano Felicio immediately was a name that stuck out to me for the Chicago Bulls. 4 years, $32 million. And for a guy that is, about an average player, if you look at his advanced numbers, his efficiency rating, right around 14, 15, and for a guy to make $8 million a year off of that, still kind of young in his career, really hasn't accomplished too much for the Bulls. I thought was very questionable. And I mean, you mentioned that some of these numbers are going up, but that still to me is a deal that should have been lower, in my opinion.
Yeah, that $6 to $8 million range is where we're seeing a lot of these questionable contracts. But Felicio, essentially a nobody a couple years ago, and now making pretty good money. We also got to talk about Otto Porter.
We have to.
Yeah, I mean, and Porter's a guy I think we can agree is a good ball player.
Right.
We like Porter and probably an essential guy to keep for Washington. But at $106 million, with the way that contract was structured, lots of trap doors is the way we saw it.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous contract and one that maybe the Wizards might regret down the road.
Yeah, and if you're the Nets, we've seen them kind of try to do this in the past. Tyler Johnson, Allen Crabbe, they're just kind of desperate for talent, and that's why we saw them do all the trap doors, as we joke. But if you're the Washington Wizards, you kind of have to look at it as the value, Otto Porter's value to their team specifically, because if they lose him, their third scoring option on a playoff team, that's a big void. And while the deal does look bad, as we've mentioned, his value to that Wizards team is much more than that. So we see it both ways, but to see $106 million is very questionable.
Good guy to keep, a ridiculous amount of money to keep him. The good news is with cap pretty much dried up and getting there, most of the bad deals are probably done, but you never know with the NBA.